It's Friday. It's Friday. Not really the normal day. Not really the normal day for the stream here on the channel. But that still doesn't change the fact that we are live on YouTube.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. Thank you very much for tuning back here to the channel. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is, of course, the official Lightning Flash update for Friday, July 30th, 2021. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for taking the time to join me here on the channel. Take a look at who we got. We got Blue Shades Wells. How you doing? We got Renegade Ryan, Ruben Day, my number one mod DD. We got Kevin MacArthur. How you doing? I see some new faces in here. I see Kevin MacArthur, David Maniscalco, he's a regular. I see Sour Cream, Avril Lavigne. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, so please forgive me. But I see some new people in here. David Maniscalco, of course, is a regular. Didi is a regular. Leo and Hoolagrim, thank you very much for hitting the like button. Please hit the like button when you come in. We got Bayek Siwa. How you doing? Thank you very much. Please make sure you hit that like button when you come in. Don't worry, I know that the trolls are out in full force here on Fridays. We got Earl Cole. How you doing, Mr. Earl Cole Bay? Of course, the trolls are out in full force because of, I see 22 dislikes. Don't worry, those are just burner accounts. They'll be going away very, very, very soon. Thank you very much for stopping by here. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you for stopping by the channel here on this Friday afternoon. For those of you who are wondering why I decided to move the Lightning Flash update to Friday, I have personal family obligations to take care of on Saturdays for the next few weeks. So I decided instead of pushing the LFU back, to the late afternoon on Saturdays, instead, I would much rather just move it to Fridays, so that way it's a lot easier for me. It's a lot easier for me. It's a lot easier for a few people. I appreciate those stopping by. We already got 15 likes, and we aren't even 5 minutes into the stream. That is fantastic. You guys are absolutely fucking awesome. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. I cannot thank you enough. We already got 16 likes now. Look at that. You guys are fucking awesome. You guys are bringing the fucking heat early, people. You're bringing the heat early. But yeah, for the next couple weeks, right here on YouTube, the Lightning Flash update is going to be on Fridays. I believe it should last probably at least until the first week of September, and then it will transfer back to Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, as per usual, to start off your weekend. But we're here on Fridays for the entire month of August and the first week in September. If anything else changes, I will be sure to update you guys. You know I will. But for now, we're going to be chilling on Fridays. We're going to be chilling on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, same time. We're going to be talking about everything that we usually talk about, minus the SmackDown review. I'm debating whether or not to do a full-fledged SmackDown review for tonight's episode on next Friday's LFU, or I may just do a quick skim-through of the results for SmackDown. I'm still debating, but for the next couple of weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, LFU is going to be on Fridays from or at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, as per usual, as you can see. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you taking the time out of your day to join me. Great turnout, actually. A fantastic turnout for Friday. I didn't think that Friday would actually do better than Saturday, but I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. 17 likes already. We're almost at 20 likes, and we aren't even 10 minutes into the stream. So I greatly appreciate that. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of news and rumors. We're going to talk about the 4 weekly shows this week, including Raw, NXT, Fight for the Fallen, and NXT UK. And of course, I got a nice heated rant burying the five-time WCW champion, Booker T. So the five-time sucker, the 5-time sucker. He is going to get buried by yours truly, DJ Storms. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. I see Earl Coley took the day off for me. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you. But if you guys haven't already done so, please make sure that you come on in and you notify as many people as possible. Before we get into the news, rumors, and reports, follow me on the Twitter sticks. At HistoryMakerDJS. You will find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Please follow me on Instagram as well, at TheDJStorms. For collaboration and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description if you want to go check that out. A couple of announcements, actually. I will be going back to the Hibiki TMD channel. Hibiki TMD, he is fantastic at what he does. Good friend of mine. He's a very, 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 very intelligent individual when it comes to professional wrestling. I have had a blast collaborating with him in the past, and he is going to be having me back on his channel next week for Hibiki High Spots. I was on Hibiki High Spots a couple times. We reviewed Royal Rumble 95 back in January. We reviewed WrestleMania 3 back in March. I'll be back next week on Hibiki High Spots on the Hibiki TMD channel, where we will be reviewing SummerSlam 1998. And then later this month on August 19th, 2021, he's going to be coming back to my channel. For the rundown for WWE SummerSlam 2021. So Hibiki TMD and myself are going to be doing some collaborations throughout the month of August. Please make sure that you go subscribe to his channel. It's the Hibiki TMD, or just Hibiki TMD on YouTube. Please go check him out. He is fantastic at what he does. Also, we got the rundown for NXT TakeOver 36. That is going to be on Saturday, August 21st, before SummerSlam goes live on Peacock that Saturday evening. I am not too sure who my guest is going to be. I'm going to ask around. I'm going to see who wants to jump on into the Eye of the Storm with yours truly. But once I do, I will be sure to notify you guys. Trust me, it's going to be a big month for the DJ Storms brand. And then, of course, towards the beginning of September, I will be having Top Rope Squishy. Shout out to her. She is fantastic at what she does. She is an absolute sweetheart. I will be having Top Rope Squishy back on the channel for the rundown for AEW All Out 2021. That is, of course, going to be on September 3rd. Actually, not September 3rd. I'm going to have that on September 4th, because by then, the LFU is still going to be on Friday. So that's going to be on September 4th, the Saturday before All Out 2021. So please set your calendar dates there. We are about 9 minutes into the stream. Now, if you have not already liked the stream, I do not know what you are doing, because you need to like the stream when you come on in to the live. So far, we got 17 likes. We want to see if we can get to at least 30. 30 is the goal. When you come on in, please make sure you hit that like button. We got 15 people watching so far. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Kevin MacArthur, David Maniscalco. Please hit the like button when you come in. Of course, in order for us to reach the goal, after you hit the like button, you got to make sure you share out the stream on all platforms, social media. I'm talking about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Tumblr. Any social media platform that you use, you got to make sure that you share out the stream. It is absolutely vital, people. It is vital. Please make sure you share out that stream so that way we can get as many people in here as possible, because everybody needs to be notified that DJ Storms is live on YouTube. I'm talking about your mothers and your fathers and your brothers and your sisters and your aunts and your uncles and your grandmothers and your grandfathers and your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th cousins twice removed, your dogs and your cats And especially you guinea pigs, because I'm having glitches on my laptop as we speak right now. It is absolutely ridiculous because I got so many articles lodged in my laptop. It's making my laptop run slow. I say this all the time, that if guinea pigs are exposed to DJ Storms, they are said to live long, happy, healthy, fruitful lives. So if you got a guinea pig and you want him or her to live a long, a happy, a healthy, and a fruitful life, tell him or her that DJ Storms is live on YouTube.com because they don't want to miss a second of this. The greatest fucking show on earth, the LFU. I mean, come on. Anyway. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you have not already done so, hit that subscribe button, people. Hit the subscribe button and be sure to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it's the best time to be on YouTube. For those of you that do not know what happens next, I know this is Earl Cole's favorite part, because when I'm on YouTube, it's the only time that you're gonna get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Wait a second, Earl Cole, it's your favorite part of the show, the magic comb, this beautiful black unbreakable comb. We're gonna light it up here on a Friday because LFU's taking over Fridays with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of Everybody wants piece of the Storm's Meister. You already know the drill. Hang on one second. I got some bad allergies. I got some bad allergies, but I'm still hanging in there, people. Anyway, we got some stuff to talk about. Let's not waste any time. I will check the chat after I'm done with the news, rumors, and reports. I got a lot of shit to talk about, so let's not waste any time. My first report comes from Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, stating that WWE is planning a Queen of the Ring tournament. There are reports going around that it could be a Peacock exclusive event. However, it is not confirmed as to which specific brand women will be competing in the tournament. Now, first off, WWE and the women's division, as we speak, it's in such a shit state. Because WWE does not see Raw Women's Wrestling as a priority. They don't see Raw Women's Wrestling as anything. And the only reason why they pushed Raw Women's Wrestling throughout 2018 going into 2019 is because Ronda Rousey was there. And whenever Vince looked at Ronda Rousey, he saw these big dollar signs and he thought he could make a quick buck off of women's wrestling. Everything that WWE does has a specific initiative and an agenda behind it. They don't willingly do this shit because they want to do it. They don't willingly do this because they want to make the shows better. They do it because they think they can make money off of it, or they do it out of pettiness for something out of their control. And one of the biggest reasons why that they're doing this, matter of fact, the only reason why they're doing this is because Mickie James is hosting an all-women's pay-per-view on August 28th for NWA called Empower. Seriously, I have not heard anything about any Queen of the Ring tournament all up until we heard that Empower was going to be a thing. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It really is. It really is fucking ridiculous. And at the end of the fucking day, WWE has to be a buzzkill, and WWE needs to do whatever they can to outshine everyone else. They want to monopolize the industry. Nobody can have their moment in the sun. It's always WWE, 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 WWE. Now, first off, if it's a Peacock exclusive, if it's a Peacock exclusive, I don't really understand why you don't just do a Mae Young Classic. We've already had 2 Mae Young Classics, and they were both great. So I don't really understand why we don't just see a Mae Young Classic for WWE in this era, with some women outside of WWE, especially considering that the NXT women's division, it's being purged right now of many, many talents, and they need a influx of new talent, so to speak. So, what we have here is a rather sticky situation. Now, could it be important? Could it feel important? Yes, it could. WWE could very well make this tournament mean something, but the reason why they're doing it is just because NWA is doing Empower with women from AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, etc., etc. So, if WWE wants to make this important, and they do go forth with this, it's reportedly set to take place in the middle of October, with the finals apparently taking place at the October pay-per-view, which is rumored to happen in Saudi Arabia, which we'll talk about a little later on. We'll talk about the Saudi Arabian deal a little bit later on. But as far as Queen of the Ring goes, if WWE goes forth with this, there is one thing that they should not do. They should not do. If they go forth with Queen of the Ring, WWE cannot, and I mean cannot, they cannot give the winner a shitty Queen gimmick. We have seen WWE with the King of the Ring tournament give the winners shit King gimmicks for the last couple winners. It happened with Wade Barrett, it happened with Baron Corbin, and it was perhaps the worst gimmick in the entire fucking industry. The worst gimmick in the entire industry. So, if you are going to do this tournament, you must, this is the number one thing, you must give the winner a women's world title opportunity, depending on the brand that she is associated with. Or if it's an NXT women that wins the tournament, like they should include NXT talent, if it's an NXT women that wins the tournament, what they should do is they should be given a choice, whether to choose between the Raw or the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's number one. Get rid of these shitty royalty gimmicks. They're outdated. They don't do anything. Matter of fact, the King gimmick is the exact gimmick that absolutely fucking buried Baron Corbin's career even further than it already was. Baron Corbin, as soon as they took the Lone Wolf away from him, he was done. But then he put him in the King of the Ring tournament, and he was actually putting on some great matches. And Baron Corbin, in a sense, he was resurrecting his career with that tournament. And what did they do? They just gave him a fucking King gimmick instead of a world fucking title shot, and they gave The Fiend the world title shot at Hell in a Cell after only competing in one fucking match at SummerSlam. It's fucking shit business. It really is. Get rid of these shit royalty gimmicks. That's number one. Number two, it must include NXT women. It must include NXT women. Okay? It must include NXT women. NXT women are the women that are going to make this tournament great, because the women's division as of right now, is absolute shit. The women's division right now is absolute shit. Okay? Look at the Raw women's division. Eva Marie, Nia Jax, Lacey Evans, she's going to be coming back as soon as she has her kid. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Trash. You honestly think that we are going to get a halfway decent tournament with the women that you have now on Raw and SmackDown? The SmackDown women's division, they got a decent division. They just need better booking. So that's number two. NXT women must be included. And number three, you need to book the winner in a meaningful way. There's two routes that WWE can go as far as the Queen of the Ring tournament goes. You can give it to an NXT women, and you can establish a top new star. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, they are going to be competing at TakeOver 36 for the NXT Women's Championship. And if I'm booking that, I'm going to be giving Dakota Kai the NXT Women's Championship because NXT and Dakota Kai's been going back and forth and back and forth and back and fucking forth for a long time as of lately. A long time as of lately. Dakota Kai has busted her ass for years, and she deserves to win the NXT Women's Championship. That's number one. So Dakota Kai wins the NXT Women's Championship, and we have Raquel Gonzalez being sent to the main roster. So Raquel Gonzalez is sent to the main roster, and Raquel Gonzalez, she is placed in this Queen of the Ring tournament. You can give Raquel Gonzalez the tournament. You give Raquel Gonzalez the tournament, and you establish her as the next top-tier heel on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw needs all the help that they can get because Monday Night Raw, they are sorely fucking lacking. Monday Night Raw is the worst women's division in the entire industry right now. Monday Night Raw's women's division absolutely fucking sucks. The SmackDown women's division, they got a decent women's division. So Raquel Gonzalez, she gets sent to Raw, she wins the tournament, and she's established as the next top-tier heel on Monday Night Raw, and she gets a women's title opportunity. That's one route you can go. Or you can go the second route. This route tells a better story. Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan, they've been going back and forth on SmackDown recently, right? Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan, they've been going back and forth on SmackDown as of lately. So the correct route to go with that is you could tell a story with Sonya Deville winning the Queen of the Ring, getting a women's title opportunity, beating Bianca Belair, and then taking the women's championship into WrestleMania. You can build up Liv Morgan as a top underdog babyface to potentially win the Royal Rumble. She wins the Women's Royal Rumble in 2022, and then she goes to WrestleMania, and she faces Sonya Deville and beats Sonya Deville to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Those are two routes that would work out beautifully. But knowing WWE, they'll just do this just to overshadow Empower going down on August 28th, and then they'll give Charlotte Flair the Queen of the Ring and have Queen Charlotte be the headlining name for the women's division on Monday Night Raw. And Charlotte Flair is an absolute fucking waste of time. Charlotte Flair is an absolute selfish cunt. Okay? Charlotte Flair is a piece of shit. And she should be nowhere near any more accomplishments, whether it be a women's championship, whether it be a Queen of the Ring, a women's tag team championship, a women's Money in the Bank briefcase. No fucking way, no how. Knowing WWE, they'll just do this shit, give the winner a shit queen gimmick, and then be done with it. That's it. That's it. So at the end of the fucking day, this tournament, I don't expect much from it. So those are the opening thoughts on the Queen of the Ring tournament. Hula Grim, thank you very much for dealing with Sour Cream. Sour Cream is a piece of shit. So is Kevin MacArthur. Apparently, Kevin MacArthur is an absolute fucking troll. Hey, Siwa, Charlotte Flair is a fucking selfish cunt. Thank you very much, Hula Grim. So, Hula Grim is taking care of the assholes here in the chat. Thank you for taking care of Sour Cream. Thank you for taking care of Siwa. Please take care of Kevin MacArthur as well, because he's a piece of shit too. He's a fucking loser. Habiki, TMD. I was hoping that you would show up, brother. I was really hoping you would show up because I actually just promoted you. Next week, me and Habiki, we will be going back to Habiki High Spots to review SummerSlam 1998, and then he's coming on my channel on August 19th for the rundown for SummerSlam. So Habiki, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch the LFU on Fridays. I'm on Fridays for the next couple weeks to handle family obligations. Thank you very much, Rob Wells Jr. You see, you don't come into my chat You fucking losers. You fucking low-life virgins. You don't come into my chat and try and upstage me. Because I got the best fan base on the fucking planet. I got Hooligrim, I got Didi, I got Habicki, I got Adam Carl, I got Rob Wells Jr. Whenever someone like you fucking losers come on in, they're gonna shut you down. You can't touch me, because you know I'm right. Charlotte Flair is a bitch, okay? Kevin MacArthur and Siwa and Sour Cream, go fuck yourself. Oh, and by the way, we just outdid the dislikes from the trolls. Don't worry, they'll go down. They'll go down, people. We already got 21 likes. It's a damn good stream so far. But those are my opening thoughts. Those are my opening thoughts on the Queen of the Ring tournament, for anyone that is wondering. Those are my opening thoughts. How you doing, Cameron Johnson? Thank you very much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate you. Please make sure you hit the like button, baby. I got some more reports. We got a lot. Oh, by the way, it's a little bit early, but why don't we throw down that code? We live by a code here on the channel, right? We got a code here on the channel. What's the code, people? I see some people. We got DD. We got Hooligrim. We got our code. He's saying it. The code is fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair. And all of her supporters. Because all of her supporters are a bunch of fucking retards. It's FC, Nick Gage, he says MDK all fucking day. No. It's FCF all fucking day. It's fuck Charlotte Flair all fucking day. Fuck Charlotte Flair. Anyway, we got a ton of news and rumors to get through, so we're going to continue on with that. We're going to move on here to the next report here. I got from Mike Johnson, and apparently he reported last week stating that Vince McMahon is apparently a big fan of Toni Storm, and he thinks that she could very well be one of the biggest baby faces in the SmackDown women's division. Now, normally I'd be inclined to agree with that statement, but then again, I want you guys to think back to all these many years ago. How many NXT call-ups have been called up, and there's been a report that has come out that Vince McMahon is high on this guy, or Vince McMahon is high on that guy, right? Didn't Vince McMahon come out in a report from Dave Meltzer, I believe it was? I believe it was 3 years ago when Andrade got called up, and it was June or July of 2018, and it was stated that Vince McMahon is very high on Andrade. Didn't he come out and say that Vince McMahon was also high on Angel Garza? What about when a report came out saying that Vince McMahon was high on Keith Lee? What about a report that came out saying that Vince McMahon was high on Damian Priest? How many fucking reports have we seen from the insider stating that Vince is high on that guy, or he's high on that guy, or he sees something in this guy, or he sees something in that guy? Where are all of those guys now? Andrade wasn't given 10% of the leeway or the opportunity that he was given in NXT, and he was ultimately released due to being disgruntled because of creative. Angel Garza, he was seen as the next Eddie Guerrero in Vince McMahon's eyes. Where is he now? He's barely on television, and when he is, he's either giving a rose to Nia Jax or chasing around the 24/7 championship. Keith Lee, don't even get me started on Keith Lee. Keith Lee has had an absolute fucking failure of a main roster run outside of his WWE title match with Drew McIntyre. He's been off of television for 5 months because Vince didn't want to use him, and now he's been brought back to television to shut everyone up, and he's been a glorified jobber. Damian Priest, he was feuding with the fucking Miz and Morrison for 3.5 months. He got taken off of television for 5 weeks, and the only reason why he's back is because of the simple fact that they got no one else for Sheamus at SummerSlam, so they just picked him randomly out of a hat. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. There's absolutely no reason for anyone to be high on Vince McMahon coming out and saying that, oh, he's a big fan of Tony Storm. I'll believe it when I see it. When this company has a report like this, I always say the same thing over and over again. Seeing is believing, all right? Plain and simple. Seeing is believing. So, we're going to move on to my next report, which actually, this report doesn't surprise me at all. This report does not surprise me. Apparently, last week it was reported that the Wrestling Observer newsletter stated WWE is interested in re-signing Braun Strowman. That don't surprise me whatsoever. Matter of fact, there is a report going around that WWE is apparently preparing for more budget cuts. I wouldn't be surprised to see Keith Lee go, which we'll talk about later, because Keith Lee posted a very, very cryptic tweet on Twitter. I believe it was on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. He posted a very cryptic tweet. Keith Lee could very well be released. I wouldn't be surprised if Angel Garza is released. I wouldn't be surprised if Cedric or Shelton is released. I wouldn't be surprised if Liv Morgan is released. WWE bringing back Braun Strowman wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. But WWE is apparently interested in re-signing Braun Strowman after the news broke about Tony Khan reportedly signing CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Yeah, because Braun Strowman is really going to help with those ratings, right? Braun Strowman is really going to help with those ratings, right? Right. Last thing we fucking need is seeing Braun Strowman run around the ring again, and we hear the fucking train sounds like we did months ago, leading up to his match against Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 37. I would not be surprised if Keith Lee, Angel Garza, Liv Morgan, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, Akira Tozawa, I would not be surprised if all of those guys go and WWE makes room for Braun Strowman. So you make room for Braun Strowman, you keep Tamina Snuka, Nia Jax, and fucking Omos, but you get rid of Keith Lee, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, Liv Morgan, Angel Garza. You're getting rid of all these fucking bright stars, yet you bring Braun Strowman in. If that doesn't tell you how fucking out of touch this company really is, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. Anyway. Let's get to the reason why you came here. As you can see in the thumbnail, I got a nice heated rant on Mr. T. No, not the guy that fought Rocky. Not the guy that fought Rocky in that movie. No, not that Mr. T. Mr. Booker T. The five-time retard champion. Let's talk about Booker T, shall we? I know Cameron Johnson has been waiting for this all week. Cameron Johnson's been waiting for this all week. Booker T recently took to his podcast and blasted fans who complained about Karrion Kross's loss to Jeff Hardy last week on Monday Night Raw. So we're going to break this down. He said a lot, so we're going to break this down. We're going to break this down piece by piece. Let's dissect the first paragraph in which he said. So, Booker T started off with, and I quote, "What was the internet set ablaze for? What do they have to do with the show? Guys, it's not about the match most of the time. It's about the story. Karrion Kross is a guy who's the NXT champion and undefeated down in NXT. One thing you have to realize is that it's still NXT. Losing to Jeff Hardy in a match that everyone in the world thought Karrion Kross making his debut was a match that he's supposed to win, but Jeff Hardy is still a veteran to the game. Jeff Hardy didn't go out there and beat him with the whisper in the wind either. Jeff Hardy stole the match from Karrion Kross." And yes, it was Earl Cole that gave me the story, so shout out to Earl Cole. What was the internet set ablaze for? You pretty much answered your own question, Booker T. You stated Karrion Kross is a guy who's the NXT champion and undefeated down in NXT. What was the internet set ablaze for? That's what the internet was set ablaze for. I mean, is it that hard for you to comprehend? He says, it's not about the match most of the time. It's about the story. Okay, what is the story? What's the story? Can you elaborate on that, Mr. T? Can you please elaborate what the story was? I'm waiting. So, all right, we read Jeff Hardy in a match. Everyone thought he would win. Jeff Hardy's still better in the game. No, okay, so no story? So no story. No story is what you're telling me. No story is what you're telling me. None whatsoever. If there was a story, why hasn't he elaborated on it? Because there is no story. Karrion Kross was not hyped up over the course of X amount of weeks. He was not given a reason as to why he was facing Jeff Hardy. They didn't follow up on what happened last week. There is no story. All this guy did was speak hollow fucking words. If there was a story, he should have been able to elaborate on it, and he didn't. Why? Because there is no story. Then he goes on to say, one thing you have to realize is that it's still NXT. So you pretty much just buried NXT right there. I didn't know that Vince McMahon had his hand right in Booker T's back, controlling him like a fucking puppet. Still NXT, so you're pretty much saying that NXT is inferior to the main roster. You're pretty much telling me, without telling me, that NXT doesn't matter. Good to know, Mr. T. Jeff Hardy is still a veteran to the game. Who fucking cares? I've stated this numerous amounts of times. Jeff Hardy, no matter how good he is, he has been booked like a fucking jobber for the majority of the pandemic WWE era. Past glory doesn't mean anything if you are not booked well in the present with credibility. Jeff Hardy and The Miz are two prime examples of that. I'll even give an example. Let's take Chris Jericho for a second on AEW. Chris Jericho, he's a former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So he loses the title to Jon Moxley. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, Jericho comes out after losing the title to Jon Moxley, and he loses to Marco Stunt in 2 minutes. Then he comes back a month later, and he loses to Sonny Kiss in a minute and a half. And then he's taken off of television for 8 months. Then he comes back after 8 months, and then he loses to QT Marshall in 4 minutes. Then he leaves for 2 months, comes back, and he loses to Aaron Solo in 1 minute. Now, no disrespect to any of those guys, but let's be quite honest. Those guys are the most irrelevant individuals that AEW has on their roster. They have no value, no credibility, no say in anything that happens on television whatsoever. They mean nothing at the end of the day. Let's say Jericho was booked like that for a solid year, and then in comes Kenny Omega. And Chris Jericho faces Kenny Omega, and he rolls up Kenny Omega in 2 minutes after losing to all of those guys in less than 5 minutes and remaining off of television for a year combined. So, what would that do for Jericho? That would make Jericho look weak, and on top of that, it would make Kenny Omega look like a pushover, and it would make Kenny Omega look weak because he just lost to a guy in 2 minutes that was losing to guys like Marco Stunt and Sonny Kiss and QT Marshall and Aaron Solo, and then he was off of television for a year, 13, 14 months. So Chris Jericho, by default, would have no credibility when he beats Kenny Omega, and it would make Kenny Omega look weak in the process. It's the same thing here. Jeff Hardy has not been in anything meaningful since the ladder match at Clash of Champions with Sami Zayn and AJ Styles. Ever since then, the guy has been losing to The Miz, Veer, and Jinder Mahal within 4 minutes. Doesn't matter if Jeff Hardy's a veteran to the game. He's been booked like a glorified enhancement talent. He has zero credibility. Yet this guy beats Karrion Kross, who, by the way, he's been going 15, 20, 25 minutes with the likes of Keith Lee, Dominik Dijakovic, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor, and Johnny Gargano. Yet he loses to a guy that's been losing to Veer and The Miz and Jinder Mahal for the last God knows how many months. And when he's not losing to those guys, he has been off of television on Main Event for 6-7 months on end. And on top of that, what the fuck is this justification of, oh, well, he stole the win from Karrion Kross? A loss is a loss. This wasn't a 25-minute fucking horse fight with Samoa Joe, and Karrion Kross didn't get choked out. He got pinned. If this was a 25-minute horse fight with Joe, and Kross was choked out, he didn't tap out, he wasn't pinned, he just passed out, maybe I'd be singing a different tune. But I'm not. He got rolled up, feet on the ropes or not, clean or not, by a guy who's been a glorified enhancement talent for the last 10 months. There is no justifying it. A loss is a loss. What story, Booker T? There is no story. So he continued on by saying this, and I quote, "When WWE are doing this, they're doing it for a reason. When they did that, it was all for a reason. You gotta understand what the reason is, opposed to just trying to analyze it and think you know exactly the way it should have gone because you didn't get what you thought you should have gotten in that moment." So, there's a reason. Okay, what's the reason? You're telling us we need to understand what the reason was, right, Booker T? So what's the reason? Can you elaborate on what the reason was? No? No? Oh, wait a minute, that's right. The reason why is because Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard and my name is Mr. John Laurinaitis and Kevin Dunn, the Bucktooth Beaver, and all these people on the main roster are envious and they're petty towards Triple H for upstaging them for all these many years. They're petty because Triple H took a chance and did something that went against the normal grain of WWE creative, and then Triple H took the world by storm, legitimately. He took the world by fucking storm. He went against the grain of everything that Vince McMahon did, and he did something creatively different. And he took NXT and made it something by doing something that Vince McMahon refused to do. Being creative, being different. Focusing on professional wrestling and storytelling, keeping talent looking special, creating stars. He did something that was different than what Vince and his team did, and he gained so much praise and so much love, more than Vince McMahon ever could. That's what he did. And that was the reason why Karrion Kross lost. But, of course, you won't hear Booker T say that because he's got the WWE cock shoved 8 inches up his ass. So you won't hear Booker T say that because he wants to remain in the good graces of WWE. What exactly was the reason? If there was a reason, shouldn't he be able to tell us? So there's a story and there's a reason. What's the story and what's the reason? He did not tell us. And don't give me the bullshit of, oh, you gotta wait and watch. No! No! Fuck off. No! No waiting, no watching. Karrion Kross should not have lost, period. No. There was no reason. The reason why is because Triple H took NXT and he did something different, and Vince McMahon and his team are envious and petty towards everything that Triple H did because he did something different from what they're doing, and he got more praise and more respect universally by the wrestling community than Vince McMahon ever could. So what did they do? They took Karrion Kross from NXT and they had him job to a glorified enhancement talent to send a message to Triple H. You know what the reason behind what happened here was? The reason was, fuck NXT. That's why. That's why Vince McMahon did what he did. There was no good, justifiable reason, and there was no story. Bullshit. Oh, there's more. There's more, people. There's more. There's more. He continues on by saying, thing is, we don't know if we're not going to go that route. We don't know that. We just know that Karrion Kross showed up on Monday Night Raw and lost and went back to NXT and got into an angle with Samoa Joe. We don't know if Karrion Kross is going to be back next week, and probably not. And when he does come back, we don't know he's going to be with Scarlett or not. So pretty much what he's saying right here is, don't question anything, don't critique anything, and just look at the surface. That's pretty much what he's saying here. Don't use your brain. Don't use your brain. Just look at the surface. So Karrion Kross went to Monday Night Raw, he lost, and then he went back down to NXT. That's it. There's no need to question anything else. Don't question, don't critique. And then he goes on to say, we don't know if Karrion Kross is going to be back next week, and probably not. He was back next week now, wasn't he? And he was originally planned to lose again to Jeff Hardy, which I'm going to talk about. Trust me, I'll talk about that in a little bit. So he ends with this. And I quote, I think people jump the gun so much because it's like instant coffee. They want it right now. They want instant gratification. I just don't think you can book the wrestling business around what the fans want on any given night. It would be booking yourself into a corner every week. You just can't do that. Jumping the gun? What exactly are we jumping the gun on? I just explained to you that Jeff Hardy was a glorified jobber, treated like shit, and Karrion Kross was booked like a monster in NXT. He was brought up from NXT, undefeated as the NXT champion, and he loses to a guy who was losing to the fucking Miz just 4 months ago. What exactly are we jumping the gun with? Instant coffee, instant gratification. Instant gratification? Fuck off. Nobody, and I mean nobody, asked. Nobody asked, and no one expected Karrion Kross to be given the WWE Championship within 30 seconds of being on the main roster, and nobody expected Karrion Kross to be glorified as the next top-tier heel. We didn't expect him to be fighting Brock Lesnar within a month. Fuck off. Fuck off. No one expected Karrion Kross, and no one asked for Karrion Kross to lose. So pretty much what you're saying is, fuck the fans. Oh, fans are impatient. Yeah, it's all the fans' fault. It's not WWE's fault, Booker. It's all WWE's fault, right? It's never WWE's fault. And then he goes on to say, you can't book the wrestling business around what the fans want on any given night. Booker, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that what Triple H was doing for so many years with NXT before Vince McMahon put NXT up against AEW? Wasn't Triple H booking the NXT brand around what the fans wanted? And I saw little to nobody complaining. Isn't that what AEW is doing? Isn't that what AEW is doing with the fans right now? Blazed Radio, shut up, okay? You are an idiot. Isn't that what AEW has been doing with the fans for 2.5 years now? They're not perfect, but AEW is doing pretty damn well for themselves, and they have been booking shows around what the fans want. So how exactly can't you book the show around what the fans want? Booker T is a fucking moron. Booker T is a fucking moron, and anyone that agrees with him, you are the fucking problem. You are the fucking problem. Jeff Hardy is a fucking glorified enhancement talent with the way that he's been booked. The fans are not the problem. All Booker T said here is, don't question anything, don't use your brain, only look at the surface, the fans are impatient, fuck the fans, and the almighty WWE can do no wrong. That's all this guy is saying. All this guy does is gag on the WWE ballsack. And the worst part about all of this is the fact that there's going to be retards out there that are going to agree with this guy just because this guy is a Hall of Famer and he knows the ins and outs of the fucking business. That's the only fucking reason why people would buy into the bullshit that this guy's saying, because, oh, he's a legend, oh, he's a Hall of Famer, oh, Jeff Hardy's a veteran. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. There was no story, there was no reason other than fuck NXT. NXT should not be treated like this. He pretty much stated, fuck the fans, and the fans are impatient. Bullshit. The fans are not impatient. Fans are not impatient. No one asked for Karrion Kross to be WWE Champion within a month of being on the main roster. We did not ask for him to lose in 2 minutes, and he should not have lost in 2 minutes, especially to a guy like Jeff Hardy that has been booked like a fucking jobber, losing to Miz, Veer, and Jinder Mahal for months. Somebody needs to take Booker T's phone away, someone needs to get him away from a microphone, and somebody needs to fucking cancel his podcast immediately, because this guy is beyond worse than anything Seth Rollins has ever said. I am telling you right now. Booker T and the stupidity that oozes from his mouth, the stupidity that oozes from Booker T's mouth is just beyond comprehension at this rate. All he said was fucking hollow words with no substance. Karrion Kross should not have been stripped of anything. He should not have lost Scarlett. He should not have lost the lights. He should not have lost the smoke. He should not have lost his undefeated streak. And he should not have been rolled up in any way, shape, or form. A loss is a loss. Jeff Hardy is a fucking jobber. Jeff Hardy has been booked like shit. I love him. He's one of my favorites of all time, but he's been booked like shit. He has zero credibility, and in no way, shape, or form should he have been the guy to beat Karrion Kross. And it doesn't matter what fucking happens from here on out. Karrion Kross and his mystique, his aura, his specialness is gone. It is gone. Doesn't matter how many guys he beats. Doesn't matter how many championships he wins. It doesn't matter how many times he goes on to main event WrestleMania. He will never be looked at the same ever again. All people are going to remember is his first match when he lost to Jeff Hardy in 2 minutes. Booker T and anyone that agrees with Booker T are fucking morons, and you do not deserve to be anywhere near the term professional wrestling. All Booker T is doing is sucking off the WWE dick so that way he remains in the good graces with Vince McMahon for whatever fucking reason. He's being a good little soldier. All he's pretty much telling us is, don't question anything. Sit there with your hands folded, bend over, take the WWE cock up the ass, and be the sheep that you are. That's all he's saying. That's all he's saying. Stop blaming the fans. Oh, that's the lamest fucking excuse that I've ever heard. Anyone that blames the fans instead of the company, you are the fucking problem. You're the fucking problem. It's the lamest excuse ever to deflect criticism and deflect blame on the company or yourself. Oh, just blame the fans. Go fuck yourself. Booker T is a fucking retard. Moving on. We are moving on from that. And we are going to move on to the next report from Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Radio, and I laughed when I heard this report. Dave Meltzer discussed how Nikki Cross's new superhero gimmick was actually booed at the recent WWE house shows. He stated, and I quote, "The notable thing both nights, worse in Pittsburgh than Louisville, but it was there both nights, is that Nikki Cross's superhero gimmick that everyone loves and everything, it's not working for the house show crowds." It's not working for the house show crowds. It's not working from the house show crowds. You know something? That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. That don't surprise me whatsoever. You know why? Because the gimmick fucking sucks. The gimmick sucks. Oh, and some people, some reports want to say, oh, it was blown out of proportion. Bullshit, it wasn't blown out of proportion. That's just shit that people want to say to try and keep the general public calm. I don't need to be there. I don't need to talk to a fucking fan that was there in attendance for these shows to know that the gimmick is not working. The gimmick was fucking booed. I believe that wholeheartedly. You know why? Because she came out to no fucking reaction at Money in the Bank. And the only reason why anyone's even making noise, over Nikki Cross and over anyone involved in this women's feud is because of the simple fact that everyone is still on this extravaganza phase of live fans being back. That's it. Nikki Cross was booed. I expect this to get worse as time goes on. If it's not working for the house show crowds, then it ain't gonna fucking work when WWE is in front of live human beings on television either. House show crowds are the most casual, stupid, kid-friendly crowds that you could possibly fucking get. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. We're going to move on to the next report. Next report comes from Andrew Zarian. Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast. Andrew Zarian recently provided an update on WWE's plan to return to Saudi Arabia. He tweeted this out on Monday, and I quote, "Hearing from a source, WWE will be returning to Saudi Arabia in October if there are no restrictions at the time. Heard 10-21, but have not double confirmed. Hashtag WWE, hashtag news." End quote. And that's what he tweeted out on Monday. So, this doesn't surprise me because of what happened with Bobby Lashley earlier this month. So, earlier this month, Bobby Lashley, on the final Thunderdome show of WWE's pandemic era, what he did was he destroyed the VIP lounge and he got rid of Lashley's ladies, the Lashley train, and he went back to being the serious, focused, determined killer Bobby Lashley that we all know he should be, right? I said that WWE had Lashley cut that promo for 3 reasons. Number 1, the Lashley train was over. And I was correct. There's no more Lashley's ladies. There's no more VIP lounge. He's not partying. He's not hanging around all these women anymore. That's number 1. Number 2, I said that he was going to face Goldberg at SummerSlam, which is exactly the route that we're headed down. That was number 2. Number 3, I also said I would not be surprised if they're also building up Bobby Lashley for a match with Brock Lesnar. And I reportedly said it was going to happen at the Survivor Series because apparently, we have Goldberg set in attendance for SummerSlam because Brock Lesnar is not set for SummerSlam. So Brock Lesnar's not set for SummerSlam. They bring in Goldberg, but Brock Lesnar will be returning to WWE soon. I pitched that he was going to return at Survivor Series and fight Bobby Lashley for the WWE title at Survivor Series because WWE is planning on making Survivor Series big. There's a report that The Rock's going to be coming back for Survivor Series to start a program with Roman for WrestleMania 38. And if that's the case, then WWE wants to keep on adding the star power to that show. They'll bring in Lesnar. And then this Saudi Arabian show came about. And the report is that WWE is going back to Saudi Arabia. If that happens, I would not be surprised in the fucking slightest. I would not be surprised in the slightest to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at the Saudi Arabian show on October 21st. I would not be shocked whatsoever. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I honestly wouldn't be shocked at all. And you know something? I wouldn't be surprised if they give Brock Lesnar the WWE Championship because in their sick and twisted mind, they think that, oh, Brock Lesnar's a draw. We got to help with these ratings. Brock Lesnar as the WWE Champion, that's definitely going to help with the ratings. I wouldn't be surprised if they give Lesnar the WWE Championship because in their sick and twisted minds, they still think Brock Lesnar's a draw, which he's not. He's not. Lesnar is not a draw. Brock Lesnar was the WWE Champion a year and a half ago. He was the WWE Champion a year and a half ago, and Raw ratings were still 2 million or under. If Brock Lesnar was a draw, don't you think that the Raw ratings should be 3 million at least? No. So it would not surprise me one bit if we see Brock Lesnar back on television after SummerSlam and we see Lesnar and Lashley for the WWE title in Saudi Arabia and they fucking give the title to Brock Lesnar. Because based on what's been going on, apparently, Big E, he's not showing any signs of going to Monday Night Raw and cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Bobby Lashley. He looks like he's going to go after Reigns. The only way that Brock Lesnar winning the WWE Championship in Saudi Arabia would be even remotely tolerable, the only way I will even halfway accept Brock Lesnar beating Lashley for the WWE Championship, the only way I will accept that is if they build up Matt Riddle after Matt Riddle and Orton break up and Matt Riddle wins the Royal Rumble, faces Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 38, and wins the WWE title and retires Brock Lesnar. That is the only way I will even remotely entertain the idea of Brock Lesnar potentially beating Bobby Lashley for the WWE title in Saudi Arabia. Will they do that? Probably not. Why? Because that would be the right thing to do in order to build a new star. And when has WWE ever willingly done the right thing? The answer's never. The answer's never. It won't surprise me one bit if Brock Lesnar is back and he goes on to fight Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship at the Saudi Arabian show and he wins. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Moving on, I got a report from Fightful. And we are going to discuss this report about Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross was actually not planned to face Keith Lee this past Monday on Raw. The original plan was to have him lose to Jeff Hardy again this week on Raw, but that was before Jeff Hardy went down with COVID-19. They planned to keep having him lose every week until Scarlett would show up and help get him back on the right track. Okay. So, when I read this, I was just absolutely fucking floored. I was dumbfounded. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why do you need to have Karrion Kross go out there and lose if you're just going to have him get built back up again? I honest to God, I don't understand where this fucking mentality comes from. Didn't they just do this with Bobby Lashley? They booked Bobby Lashley like a fucking beast. He beat The Miz twice to win the WWE Championship in convincing and decisive fashion. Then he successfully defended it against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Then he successfully defended it in a triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash against Strowman and Drew McIntyre. And then he started losing to Kofi Kingston. Then he started partying with the women. Then he lost to Xavier Woods. I don't understand. What is the fucking purpose? What is the fucking point of building somebody up? What's the point of building somebody up and then tearing them down again, making them look weak, and then building them back up again? That is one of the most counterproductive maneuvers that you could do as a creative booker for a wrestling show. Scarlett didn't need a fucking reason. Scarlett didn't need any reason to show up with Karrion Kross. She was already with Karrion Kross on NXT. There should be no disconnect whatsoever between NXT and the main roster. There should be none whatsoever. No disconnect. There should be no starting over. What we have on NXT, we should have on the main roster. It should be all one and the same. It should all flow together. But it doesn't. Why doesn't it? What is the fucking purpose of building someone up as an unstoppable monster only to tear him down again and then rebuild them back up again? That is counterproductive as you could possibly get. That is shit booking. Are you doing it because you're bored, or are you doing it because you're just so fucking lazy? Stop tearing shit down only to rebuild it back up. Stop. My final report, and then I'll check the chat. My final report, and then I'll check the chat. I see you, Top Rope Squishy. Don't worry, I see you. I'll be having you on the rundown for All Out towards the end of August. Top Rope Squishy's a sweetheart. Please make sure you watch her recent stream. My final report. Keith Lee. Keith Lee posted a cryptic tweet about his absence. The tweet stated, and I quote, "I decided I am just going to tell you guys the story myself. Give me a week or two." End quote. So, what's happening in a week or two? What's happening in a week or two? Why is it that now is the time where we're just finally getting a fucking peep out of anyone regarding the disappearance? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. What's happening in a week or two? Is Keith Lee, what is Keith Lee preparing for? Is he preparing to be punished? Is he preparing to be suspended? Is he preparing to be buried more on television? Or is he preparing to be released? Because again, Keith Lee, he was taken off of television and nothing changed about him. He wasn't off of television because of COVID. He wasn't off of television because of an injury. He wasn't off of television because of a health reason. He wasn't off of television because they wanted him to lose weight. He was off of television because Vince McMahon gave up on him. He was off of television because WWE and Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon and all these fucking people, they didn't see anything in him because, for whatever fucking reason, they're out of fucking touch. So it would not surprise me if Keith Lee's released. With the report of WWE looking to bring back Braun Strowman, I would not be surprised if they released Keith Lee and a few other individuals. More and more that this shit goes on, more and more I am proven right. Why should Keith Lee be instructed not to speak? I don't get it. Why should Keith Lee be instructed to remain quiet? There is absolutely nothing to be quiet about. There is honestly nothing to be quiet about. Keith Lee was one of the fastest rising stars on Monday Night Raw. He was recently just coming out of a WWE title opportunity. There's no reason why we should not have gotten an explanation as to why Keith Lee was out for 5 fucking months. Unreal. Would not surprise me in the slightest if Keith Lee is released. Those are your news, rumors, and reports. My phone's blowing up. Let's see what we got over here. We got 28 likes. 28 likes. 28 likes. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, for stopping by. Yeah, I know. Squishy, you have no idea. I lose my shit every single week here on the LFU. Trust me. I lose my shit every single week. Blazed Radio, there should not be a disconnect. And if you are going to accept a disconnect between NXT and the main roster, you can get out of my chat. Just letting you know. Get out of my chat if you're going to try and defy me. You don't defy me. You don't come into my chat and try and defy me, okay? You know who I am? Smartest man on this fucking planet. You don't fucking defy me. Danielle, I'm trying to do a stream. You can't be texting me. Can't be texting me when I'm trying to do a stream. We got 12 people watching. We got Blue Shades Wells, Top Rope Squishy. We got Cameron Johnson. Thank you very much. Adam Carl, you are fantastic. Earl Cole, he's a beast. DD, Matt Moody. We had to deal with some trolls earlier on, but we shut them down because you don't fuck with me, okay? I'm DJ Storms. I am here and you all follow. I am your fucking master, so you bow down to me. Might as well call me Albert Einstein. So thank you very much for tuning in to the LFU. We went through a lot of news and rumors, and we got a lot more to talk about. We got 4 weekly shows to review, and I know that Squishy is probably going to have a field day with me reviewing Monday Night Raw because I seem to completely lose my shit whenever I talk about Raw. So let's talk about Raw, shall we? Let's talk about everybody's favorite show, Monday Night Raw, right? Talk about Monday Night Raw. What do you want me to say? This show, not as bad as last week, but it was still terrible. Show sucks. I can't remember the last time we actually had a decent I don't think we've had a decent Monday Night Raw since 2017. I don't think we have not had a decent Monday Night Raw in like 5 years now. It's ridiculous. So Monday Night Raw kicked off with Nikki Trash, this dumb little bimbo in a superhero outfit. Nikki Trash. She kicked off the show. Terrible fucking cheers being edited. The crowd was clearly edited cheers. When her music hit, nobody stood up. The cheers when she came out was clearly fucking edited. So she took the mic and she said, I've always wanted to say this. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. I wish I didn't have to hear you say that, Miss Trash. She goes, I'm so happy we are all back together, and I'm standing here as your new Raw Women's Champion. Crowd was chanting, you deserve it. I mean, of course they were chanting, you deserve it. I mean, this crowd will cheer for anything. They fucking cheered for fucking Tamina Snuka, and the woman can't wrestle her way out of a fucking plastic bag. Crowd was chanting, you deserve it. Undeservingly so. No, she does not deserve it, people. Not with this shitty gimmick. Not with this fucking lame-ass superhero gimmick. Not with a discount hurricane gimmick. She does not deserve it. So Nikki Trash goes, in the past, when I reached for the stars, I didn't have the confidence I needed. And I did not have the ability to keep my dinner in my stomach. I had pork chops for dinner, and I actually threw them up on my bed as I was watching this horrendous promo. She goes, if I fail, I fail. I'm still me. No, you are not you anymore. You are a shell of your former self. She goes, when I put on this outfit, it gives me the confidence, and if you believe in yourself, you can overcome all the odds, and we can all almost be superheroes. I think I lost about 5,000 brain cells when she said that. We can all almost be superheroes. I mean, please, correct me if I'm wrong. Does that or does that not sound retarded? So, Charlotte Flair came out. Well, and we've already said the code, but I think everyone, please everyone, can you remind? I don't think Squishy, Top Rope Squishy, she doesn't know what the code is. Can you just remind Top Rope Squishy what is the code here? What is the code here on the channel whenever we talk about Charlotte Flair? What's the code? I know you know the code, people. I'm just waiting for you guys to type it. What's the code? Anyone, please, anyone. What's the code, people? There you go. Earl Cole. Thank you, Mr. Earl Cole. The code is fuck Charlotte Flair. Because she is a self-absorbed, egotistical cunt. So, fuck Charlotte Flair and all of her supporters. So Charlotte Flair came out. She takes the mic. She says, that's a nice fairy tale you're telling. You as Raw Women's Champion is a disgrace. She said, you as Raw Women's Champion is a disgrace. You know something? I can't even believe that I'm saying this. But, man, she actually said something that's intelligent. Nikki Cross as Raw Women's Champion is a disgrace. Wow. Good job there. I actually agree with you, you selfish bitch. I actually agree with you. Wow. So she finally said something right. She then goes, in my book, you have to work for it to be a champion. But you didn't work for it. You see, you were handed 75% of your accomplishments because of your last name. So I don't know what you're talking about as far as working for it, Miss Flair. She goes, I'm here to add star power and perspective. What fucking star power? Let's all take a closer look at what really happened last week. After I proved my superiority over Rhea Ripley, she acted like a spoiled teenager, acting like her parents took her phone away. So kind of like how you act whenever Bruce Pritchard or Vince McMahon, whenever WWE Creative says you have to put this woman over, you act like a spoiled brat who just got her phone taken away. Good to know. She goes, I wasn't even on my feet when the bell rang. You stole my title, and I'm going to get my rematch at SummerSlam, and you're going to bow down to the real champion. All this injustice is all your fault. Talking about the fans. It's all your fault. You all cheered after I was the victim of injustice, and you're all jealous of me. No, bitch, we're not jealous of you. We don't want to see you because you have been in the title picture ever since you came up to the main roster, and you have been the most overprivileged individual in WWE Women's history. Worse than the Fabulous Moolah. So Rhea Ripley comes out. She was actually the only one that actually was over in this segment. She goes, we are all so jealous of you, someone who held the title for one whole day. See, you got yourself intentionally disqualified last week. This should be me going into SummerSlam. Cross goes, each of you represented this division wonderfully, but this women's division needs a metamorphosis, and I'll be leading this change as your Raw Women's Champion. So then all of a sudden, Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce came out. They made a triple threat match for SummerSlam. And Charlotte Flair goes, this is ridiculous. I want a match with Nikki Cross tonight. Cross says, you're on. Flair then attacked Ripley. And Cross drop-kicked Flair out of the ring and stood tall. So we have a championship contenders match. And the match at SummerSlam was already fucking made. Here's what I don't understand. We have a championship contenders match, and the match was already fucking made. Why does Charlotte need to face Nikki Cross? It makes no sense. And on top of that, This segment, complete fucking waste of time. No one gave a shit about this segment, and the only reason why anyone even cheered, like I said, is because everyone is still riding high on the live fans are back Cloud9 extravaganza phase, which, by the way, it's going to die down very, very quickly. After SummerSlam, it's over. As soon as SummerSlam season is done and we go into the fall, all of this excitement of live fans being back is going to go right down the tube. This segment sucked. Charlotte Flair sucks. Rhea Ripley sucks. Nikki Cross is a fucking embarrassment, and anyone that supported this segment, you should be ashamed of yourself. Damian Priest. Damian Priest versus Sheamus. This was a United States Championship Contenders match. Championship Contenders match. And you know, this match was actually a very good match for what it was. Not gonna lie, but why should we care? And I'm gonna explain to you why there's no reason to care. Sheamus took over on Damian Priest with a back suplex on the apron. So coming back from commercial, Priest lit up Sheamus with some stiff strikes. The mask actually flew off of Sheamus, the protective steel mask. Priest hit South of Heaven off the top rope. That got a 2. Sheamus hit a nice Alabama slam for a 2. Sheamus then with a very nice punt kick knee strike. Priest then kicked out. Priest then with hit the lights, and he won. Very good match for what it was. Very good match for what it was, but why the fuck should we care? Why the fuck should we care? Why the fuck should we care? Because at the end of the fucking day, how many fucking times do we need to see this? How many fucking times do we need to see this? I don't fucking understand. I really don't fucking understand why the fuck we need to go through the same bullshit over and over again. Why is it that Damian Priest needs to get a United States Championship match by beating the United States Champion? Why can't Damian Priest get a U.S. title match because, I don't know, you have Damian Priest as the most wittiest superstar on Raw? He's only lost one match this year. How about Damian Priest? He beat a former WWE champion in The Miz. Why can't that be the reason why Damian Priest gets a U.S. title opportunity? Why can't Damian Priest get a U.S. title opportunity? Because he's been ranking up wins. It's like a foreign fucking language to this company. It's like they're physically incapable of building someone up through wins. Oh, no, we can't have anyone get wins. No, we need to have him beat the champion in order to get a championship match. Champions losing, the challenger beating the champion in order to get another match for the championship. It is the most overdone, overused concept in WWE history. To quote Roman Reigns, to quote the tribal chief Roman Reigns, it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's like missionary position every single night. Just fucking build them up through wins. Stop, and I mean fucking stop having your champions lose. Championship contenders matches and the champions losing in non-title matches, it needs to die. Needs to die. AJ Styles and Hamas versus the Viking Raiders. This is for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Fun match. Fun little match, but at the end of the fucking day, who cares? This was nothing more than a setup match, a rematch, because, the Viking Raiders and AJ and Hamas turned out better than expected. Let's do it again on Raw. Fans loved it. Let's do it again. Let's shove it down their throats again. So what happened? We get it again. Fun little match, but a waste of time in the end. So this was fast-paced action out of the gate. Viking Raiders did what they could to take down Omos. We had a Viking experience before Omos saved it. Omos then tossed around the Viking Raiders coming back from commercial. Omos wore down Eric. He tagged in Styles. Eric took him out, and Ivar came in. He lit up Styles with a cartwheel clothesline. Styles went then with a tornado DDT for a 2. Eric then with a punt knee strike. Styles barely kicked out. I actually thought the Viking Raiders had it. And then we had Ivar being taken out. Pele kicked to Eric. Omos came in with a body slam to Eric. Big boot to Ivar. Omos then with a double choke bomb. Tag to Styles and a springboard 450. And Styles and Omos retain. Fun match for what it was, but it was a waste of time. Waste of time. Styles should not even be in this tag team. It should not even have been a thing. And RK Bro can't win those championships any sooner. We need to get rid of this tag team with AJ and Omos because Omos can't wrestle. Styles should be in the upper mid-card to main event scene, and Omos should be on the unemployment line. I'm sorry. Truth is the truth. Jinder Mahal. Jiggle my balls. Jiggle my balls. He brought out his attorney and told Drew McIntyre to apologize for what he did to Shanky last week. Drew asked the crowd if he should apologize. He goes, "Should I apologize and buy these guys a nice steak dinner?" I actually would love a steak dinner. Hey, Drew, I would actually love a steak dinner. So if you want to go out for a nice steak dinner, I'm all for it, as long as we can get some Sweet Baby Rays on that. Some garlic salt, some Sweet Baby Rays. I got no problem with a nice steak dinner, Mr. McIntyre. Should I apologize and buy these guys a nice steak dinner, or should I say screw the lawyer and beat Veer within an inch of his life? So Drew made the crowd chant, "Drew is gonna kill you." Drew McIntyre took on Veer. This went about 3 minutes. Jinder Mahal slid Veer a chair. He slid Veer a chair, and Drew McIntyre claymored the chair into Veer's head. So Drew lost via disqualification, but the referee said that Drew McIntyre actually won via disqualification, but the DQ win was for Veer. If the announcer really just doesn't give a shit, you know what? I do not blame him. It's on Monday Night Raw. Anyway, so Drew McIntyre took the lawyer. He stood face to face with the lawyer. Then he took the lawyer into the ring and gave him a claymore, and that was it. I'm glad that Drew McIntyre is not telling history lessons anymore. I'm glad that he's not talking about how his sword was made from the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster, or how he's related to Pocahontas or Genghis Khan. I'm very, very happy about that. But at the same point in time, a feud with Jinder Mahal, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. This is going to be the bathroom break at SummerSlam. Well, SummerSlam's looking like a bathroom break in its own right outside of 2 or 3 matches. So this doesn't surprise me. This is going to be perhaps the worst match of the night at SummerSlam. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I should not say that because what's happening next and what this program is leading to, my God, this could very well be the worst fucking match of the fucking year. So we had Natalya and Tamina. Natalya and Tamina versus Eva Marie and Piper, I shall not call her Doudrop, Niven. Championship contenders match is great. Doudrop, of course, did all the work. Eva Marie did not take one fucking bump. Eva Marie did not take one fucking bump. Absolutely fucking terrible. So, midway through the match, Eva Marie, like the fucking bimbo that she is, was looking at the Titantron, and Alexa Bliss played a vignette hyping up Lily Lucian. Lily the doll, who is out of timeout, apparently. We need to fucking put Bruce Pritchard in a fucking timeout. So, we played the Lily Lucian vignette. Eva Marie turned around into a super kick, and Tamina and Natalya win. Natalya was actually helped to the back. Her leg was being held up in the air. She may have just gotten injured for nothing. Natalya may have just gotten injured for nothing. A meaningless match that shouldn't have even have taken place. Natalya may have just gotten injured for fucking nothing. And this feud between Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss, don't even fucking get me started. This gimmick sucks. Eva Marie sucks. It is absolutely fucking terrible. And I know this isn't going to happen. But I'll say it again. If Alexa Bliss, if she ends up making Eva Marie disappear, never to show face again in the WWE, I will never say another negative thing about Alexa Bliss so long as she is a pro wrestler. And I use that term pro wrestler very loosely because Alexa Bliss is not a pro wrestler. She's a fucking embarrassment of a pro wrestler. If this is the match at SummerSlam, if Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss is a match at SummerSlam, I swear to God, I hope Vegas tears that shit apart. Karrion Kross and Keith Lee, which is a match that wasn't even supposed to take place. Karrion Kross was supposed to lose to Jeff Hardy again. So instead, they just showed you who they value more, or who they value less, actually. They are punishing Keith Lee, and they just decided to shut everyone up and give Karrion Kross the win. Guarantee you Karrion Kross loses to Jeff Hardy again whenever Jeff Hardy comes back, and they gave Keith Lee the loss just to further bury Keith Lee into the fucking grave. If Keith Lee is not released by the end of the year, I would be shocked. Oh, and by the way, Keith Lee, he tapped out. Keith Lee tapped out. Keith Lee tapped out in 6 minutes. Keith Lee tapped out in 6 minutes. Oh, no, not 6 minutes. 8 minutes, I believe. Keith Lee tapped out in 8 minutes. Keith Lee tapped out in 8 fucking minutes. And this was the very first time in his entire WWE run. This was the first time in his entire WWE run that he tapped out. Keith Lee stood face to face with guys like Orton, McIntyre, Karrion Kross in the past, Dominic Dijakovic, Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Roderick Strong. And not once did he ever tap out. And here, he gets locked in the fucking cross jacket and he taps out in 8 minutes. If that does not tell you what they think of Keith Lee, I honestly don't know what to fucking tell you. Keith Lee is buried. He is buried. He is done. It's over. There is no fucking justifying anything. That's going on here with Keith Lee. Keith Lee's buried. Keith Lee, I'm telling you, I hope to God he gets out of this company. I really hope to God he gets out of this company. Moving on here, Mace and T-Bar. Mace and T-Bar, or as I like to call them, Disgrace, not Mace, Disgrace, and T-Balls. Not T-Bar, T-Balls. So, Disgrace and T-Balls, they took on Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. Now, call me crazy, but you know what? Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, this team has potential. And I actually love the makeup of Ali and Mansoor. This is a great move for Ali and Mansoor because Raw needs tag teams, and these two would be great as a tag team. Matter of fact, I would absolutely give these two the tag team titles and have these two be the catalyst of the breakup between Riddle and Orton. This is a great fucking pairing. Will WWE give them the proper amount of time to tell their story? Probably not. But, you know something? They gotta win here. And I actually like the interaction between them. This team has a lot of potential. Ali dove through the ropes, hit a suicide tornado DDT on T-Balls. Mansoor then rolled up Disgrace for the win. Dominik Dijakovic, a.k.a. T-Balls, he looks like a bum. He looks like a bum. So, Bobby Lashley, he came out with Montel Vontavious Porter. MVP says, please rise to your feet and show respect to your almighty WWE champion. Lashley's dominance is on par with Tom Brady. Goldberg came out last week and disrespected the WWE champion. Crowd was chanting Goldberg like the puppets that they are. Lashley goes, I'm not even going to dignify Goldberg's challenge with the response. This is my ring. So Cedric Alexander then came out and he goes, disrespect? You want to talk about disrespect? How about you excommunicating me from the Hurt Business? You know that I'm better than you. Prime Alexander steps up. Cedric Alexander was then interrupted by Shelton Benjamin. He came out, he goes, Cedric, do you have any idea how annoying the sound of your voice is? I'm here to give you a real challenge. Lashley then said, I'll take them both on at the same time. Get a referee. So, Bobby Lashley just completely buried these two. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton was on the receiving end of a jackhammer, and then Bobby Lashley hit a Dominator onto Cedric, onto Shelton. Double pin. Cedric and Shelton are buried. Goodbye. I would not be surprised if they are released along with Keith Lee, Liv Morgan, and Angel Garza, and Braun Strowman. The Dummy Express makes his way back into the World Wrestling Entertainment. Matt Riddle versus John Morrison, which, by the way, Matt Riddle got the biggest fucking pop of the night. If Riddle is not positioned to be the WWE champion within the next year, everyone in this company needs to be fired. So, Riddle actually PK'd The Miz in a fucking wheelchair. So, Miz was out. Riddle with a floating bro to Morrison. Styles and Omos came out. Morrison then countered with a sliding knee for a 2. Riddle then with a powerbomb and a final flash knee strike for a 2. Riddle then was watching Styles and Omos as they destroyed his scooter. Riddle, like an idiot, watched as they destroyed his scooter. Morrison then with a springboard spinning crucifix slam, which looked beautiful. And then a Starship Pain for the win. Decent little match right here. This was probably the best match of the night. And then Styles and Omos then actually attacked Riddle with a Styles Clash to Riddle. RK Bro will be your new Raw Tag Team Champions at SummerSlam, which I'm very, very, very happy about. It's going to be great, and I'm very, very happy to see that we have a very nice story here developing with Riddle and Orton, and when they win the tag team titles, I expect it to be the best pop of the night at SummerSlam. We had R-Truth versus Reginald. This is for the 24/7 championship. Truth had a built-in microphone. He actually wrestled with this built-in microphone for some reason. No idea why. He kept it on during the match. Reginald wrestled in a suit. Reginald was flipping out of everything. He had a flipping senton on R-Truth, and Reginald retains. The 24/7 title Circus then came out. They ran out, and Reginald flipped over the top rope and got away, and then he did 4 consecutive backflips in a row. So, the 24/7 championship continues to be a waste of time, and anyone that supports the 24/7 championship continues to be a retard. Charlotte Flair versus Nikki Trash. Nikki Trash, trash, because that's exactly what she is. She is a piece of trash. This was terrible. Charlotte Flair was just tossing around Nikki Trash before Nikki tried to come back with a running bulldog and a tornado DDT. Charlotte ended up rolling through the cross body, and we ended up seeing a roll-up and Charlotte Flair pins the Raw Women's Champion. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit whether you're Nikki Trash. I don't give a shit whether you are Sonny Kiss or Marco Stunt. I don't give a shit whether the fuck you are Reginald or you're Humberto Carrillo. If you are a champion, you should not be losing. And I'm sick and fucking tired of this. A waste of fucking time. And then the promo afterwards was it was just absolutely mind-boggling at how fucking stupid the people writing the show are. Flair mocked Kross, and then Kross said, I knew I could almost beat you. What the fuck does almost have to do with anything? Why don't you win matches? Because you're the fucking champion, right? I was just like absolutely flabbergasted with the stupidity that just oozed from this shit. So Kross, now we're getting this match again next week, actually. We're getting this match again next week. We're getting this match again next week, and I cannot even begin to tell you. I cannot even fucking begin to tell you how fucking ridiculous it is. I can't even begin to tell you. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. We get this match again next week. Flair accepted the challenge and then dropped Nikki Cross after the match. This show sucks. This show is terrible. This show is a piece of shit. This show is a dumpster fire. I am absolutely losing my fucking mind week in and week out with how fucking pathetic this show really is. And I'm telling you, it's not a stream for laughs. It's not a stream for jokes. I can't even bring myself to do any more impersonations of John Laurinaitis. This company is absolutely fucking pathetic, and I do not blame anyone that has stopped watching this company, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown altogether. And the only reason why I still watch is because I got a nice group of people that are currently watching me right now that are going to take time out of their day, no matter what day or what time that I'm on YouTube, and they're going to watch me talk about this show. If it wasn't for you guys, there would be no DJ Storms. There would be no DJ Storms. This show sucks. Let's check the chat. We are just one more like away from 30. We are just one more like away from 30. So, people, if you want to... You know what? Let's see if we can get to 40. Here's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to share the stream out, and I want you to notify as many people as possible, because this is an absolute vital thing going on right now. I want you guys to share out the stream, and I want you guys to get as many people in here as possible, because we want to get to at least 40 likes. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. And of course, if you do not know, if you do not fucking know, there we go, 30 likes. Let's see if we can get to 40. Come on, baby. 40 likes is the goal. That is the goal at the end of the day. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that DJ Storms is live. We already got the trolls, so I think we can get more than just the trolls. We actually got 3 more shows to go over. I know that Danielle loved my rants. And Danielle, I greatly appreciate all the support that you have been giving me over the course of the last year. You have been fantastic. Earl Cole, he's fantastic. Blue Shades Wells is an absolute beast. He is awesome. And everyone else here, Top Rope Squishy, if you're gonna stay here a little bit longer, I think I might as well make you a mod, so that way you can help me handle the trolls here in the chat. Because you know that some of these trolls, they shouldn't even be here. They can't touch me. Thank you very much, Top Rope Squishy. I hope that you have an awesome day, and I will be sure to message you later this week. Don't work too hard. We're actually going to get into NXT. Let's talk about NXT. Like I said last week, NXT, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. NXT is not bad at all. It never was bad. NXT never was a bad show. I said it once and I'll say it again. There's never been a period in NXT where we have sat down and we've said, oh my God, this show sucks. This is a terrible show. There should be absolutely no one watching this show. It's terrible, blah, blah, blah. NXT's always been a consistent show. NXT has always been a consistent show. NXT has always been a very good pro wrestling show. But now more so than ever, it's becoming increasingly hard to care about NXT because of the simple fact that Vince McMahon has just absolutely gone out of his way to make sure everyone knows that NXT is an inferior brand to the main roster. That's what sucks. It's never been a bad show, but at the end of the fucking day, no matter if it was decent, it was a very solid show. But at the end of the fucking day, who cares? At the end of the fucking day, NXT does not feel like it has a purpose. I was texting Hibiki. I was actually texting Hibiki during Monday Night Raw. We were texting during the Karrion Kross Samoa Joe match. And this is what we were talking about. Me and Hibiki were texting. He texts me during the Karrion Kross Keith Lee match. He goes, no reaction for Kross at all. I go, after last week, are you surprised? He goes, nope, just disappointed. I text him back saying, out of everyone they could have picked to send a message, they picked Kross. What does that tell you? He texts me back saying, tells me that Raw is a waste of time and makes me feel like NXT is pointless. I couldn't have said it better myself. NXT, at this stage, as we speak, NXT right now, it's just there. There's no purpose, there's no reason, there's no motivation, there's no drive, there's no energy. It's just there. NXT just exists. It feels like there is no purpose with NXT, and it's just another wrestling show that exists, because if NXT had a purpose, then everyone on NXT's roster should go on to be major stars on Raw and SmackDown. And the reason why they're not is because Vince McMahon is an envious prick, and he's made it his mission to destroy everything that NXT is, because he cannot stand that Triple H has done things better than him for God knows how many years. That's the thing that just gets under my skin. This wasn't a bad show. This was a very solid show. We got some decent wrestling on the show. We got some TakeOver build. TakeOver 36 is shaping up to be a very good show. And I personally cannot wait for it. But at the end of the fucking day, what's going to happen after these individuals leave NXT? At this rate, the only way that I will even accept anyone signing with this company is if they go to NXT for 3 years, and then once their contract is up after 3 years in NXT, they leave. They leave just so that way they have the NXT rub underneath their belt, because as soon as they leave NXT, they're going to go on to Monday Night Raw and they're going to be buried. Look at what happened to Kross. Kross, as I stated, was the last beacon of hope. Kross couldn't even succeed. What makes you think that anyone else on that show, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, Austin Theory, Odyssey Jones, and Carmelo Hayes, and all these other people, what makes you think that they're going to succeed? They're not. They're not. But NXT, we're going to go over NXT. Not a bad show at all. Pretty solid show. Some nice TakeOver builds, some decent wrestling. We started off with Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher taking on Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan. Ciampa and Thatcher were in control early. Thatcher was then isolated. Ciampa got the hot tag. He lit up Lorcan and Dunn. Clothesline after clothesline in the corner. Big double leaping lariat. We had a discus lariat to Lorcan. Snap German suplex, by Dunn. And then Ciampa locked in an armbar. Thatcher then, he got run over on the outside by the returning Ridge Holland. The ref didn't see it. Dunn hit the bitter end on Ciampa, and Pete Dunne pins Tommaso Ciampa. Dunn and Lorcan win a very good tag team match, and then afterwards, all three men beat down Ciampa and Thatcher. I don't know where this is leading to, but this was supposed to be the original group for when Pat McAfee instituted a War Games for the Undisputed Era back in December. So I'm actually very, very interested in seeing where this goes. I don't really see too much in Ridge Holland. He's got a great look, but I don't really see Ridge Holland being that mainstay guy in NXT. I really don't. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. We had Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe came out, and this was a very good segment right here. This was excellent right here. So Samoa Joe came out. He had a contract in his hand. He brings out a chair. He brings out a folding table, and he set them up in the ring, and he put the contract right down on the table. He takes the mic and he goes, "Karrion Kross, I could bark about you until I'm blue in the face, but instead, I'll be proactive. Mr. Regal, will you join me in the ring?" So William Regal came down to the ring. Samoa Joe goes, "I understand you're angry. I understand what Kross did was wrong, and I know you're going to fire him. But I have a better solution, and it's a 3-step process. Step 1, with this piece of paper, I resign from NXT management. And with your signature, you reactivate me as a part of the active NXT roster." William Regal then took the pen, signed the contract. Joe then goes, "And that's good, but again, Mr. Regal, this is a 3-step process. So, with this piece of paper," he pulled out another one. "With this piece of paper, you will make official Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship at TakeOver 36. So, with that being said, William Regal signs the contract, and he shakes Samoa Joe's hand, and that was it. And we have everything confirmed. Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship at TakeOver 36. It's going to be a great match, and Samoa Joe is going to be the NXT Champion, and I can absolutely see Pete Dunne taking it off of him. When the time is right. If I was booking this, we could very well see a match with Kyle O'Reilly, maybe a match with Johnny. But ultimately, I do see Pete Dunne being the guy to take the title off of Samoa Joe, because Pete Dunne, he's been with NXT for a while, and he's a guy that absolutely deserves an NXT Championship match and an NXT Championship title reign. If there's one guy on the show that deserves it, it's Pete Dunne. And I would absolutely give that title to Pete Dunne. Cameron Grimes, Danielle's favorite superstar, Cameron Grimes, and L.A. Knight. They were hitting the golf course. And Cameron Grimes goes, "How long do you want me to wash your balls for? I've been washing your balls for the last 30 minutes. his golf balls, not his testicles. Please do not get the balls confused. So Knight, he did a drive, and Grimes kept betting him that he's going to hit the ball into the trees, and LA Knight did indeed hit the ball into the trees. I thought this was excellent stuff, and it was very, 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 very entertaining. Cameron Grimes and LA Knight, they've been hitting home runs ever since they joined forces to do this, and I've been loving everything that they're doing. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to call it right now. Cameron Grimes and LA Knight, I think they're going to steal the show. They're going to steal the show at NXT TakeOver 36. We had Carmelo Hayes versus Josh Briggs. Carmelo Hayes and Josh Briggs. This was the NXT Breakout Tournament. This was the first round of the tournament. Briggs used his power against Hayes early on. Hayes with a springboard guillotine leg drop right to the back of Briggs' neck. Looked great. That got a 2 count. Briggs then took over with a big splash on Hayes for a 2. Hayes then came back with an enziguri and a springboard clothesline. Hayes then with a code breaker for a 2. Briggs then with a big boot and a choke slam. That got a close 2 count. Hayes with 2 tilt-a-whirl face busters. And then he hit a diving axe kick off the top, similar to what Eva Valkyrie does on NXT UK. And that was enough to get the win. Carmelo Hayes gets the win in a very good match. The best match of the tournament thus far. This was absolutely the best match of the tournament thus far. And I was very, 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 very impressed with what I saw here with Carmelo Hayes and Josh Briggs. These two are absolutely going to be future pillars of NXT. These two are absolutely going to be future pillars of NXT within due time. And I think that these two are really, really, really going to be the 2 biggest breakout stars of the tournament. I'm telling you. Especially Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes, he's got so much fucking potential. He really does. So, this was the best match of the tournament thus far. Excellent stuff. We go back to Cameron Grimes and LA Knight back on the golf course. So Grimes is doing commentary. He's doing commentary for LA Knight's putting. And LA Knight actually hit the ball into the lake. Cameron Grimes was sent to get the ball, Happy Gilmore style. Ted DiBiase then showed up, and he convinced Grimes that he was born to be a champion, and Grimes is a fighter. He told him to think about that. So Ted DiBiase is motivating Cameron Grimes for Cameron Grimes' inevitable turn on LA Knight and Cameron Grimes' inevitable $1 million title win. Can't wait to see that. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, they came out to address the NXT universe. Gonzalez says, "Last week I crushed one of the most feared superstars in the women's division. Who's next? I want you to keep them coming." Kai then goes, 18 months ago, you debuted, and I tell everyone that my best friend is the most dominant woman in NXT history. The list will go on and will continue to go on. NXT TakeOver is 4 weeks away. Who is woman enough to test Raquel? So she challenged anyone to come on down and face Raquel. Kai then vowed to always have Raquel Gonzalez's back, and she will always be champion. Raquel Gonzalez then held up the title. All of a sudden, she turned around and she got booted in the face by Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai has officially turned on Raquel Gonzalez, and Dakota Kai held up the title, mocked Raquel Gonzalez, and left. Very good stuff right here. We got our NXT Women's title match confirmed for the show. And you know something? I'm giving Dakota Kai the NXT Women's Championship because she's earned it. She's absolutely earned it. Casey Catanzaro, who I absolutely adore, and Caden Carter, they took on Jesse Kamea and Frankie Monet with Robert Stone in their corner. This was a pretty straightforward match. Really nothing special. Nothing that anyone's going to go back and rewatch at all. Monet suffers her first pinfall loss because Robert Stone threw a shoe to distract Monet. Monet, like an idiot, distracted because of Robert Stone. And we had a neckbreaker 450 combo. Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter win. And I would not be surprised to see these two fighting for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. And I would not be surprised if they win the titles. I would absolutely give these two the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. We had Imperium versus Hit Row, who I'm loving. I love me some Hit Row. So, this was a decent little match. Decent little match right here. Top Dollar came in, hit a high knee to Eichner. We had a drop kick back suplex combo by Hit Row for a 2. We had a tag to Bartel. Adonis then with a spine buster for a 2. Coming back from commercial, Imperium was in control before Adonis fought back. We had a tag to Top Dollar with a sidewalk slam and a big leaping elbow drop for a 2. Flapjack by Adonis. All of a sudden, Legado del Fantasma came out. They attacked Swerve. Top Dollar then took them out. And we had a European bomb by Imperium, and Adonis was pinned. Imperium got the win. It looks like Imperium is going to be the next in line for MSK, which I don't mind whatsoever. And Top Dollar was then taken out by Legado del Fantasma. Swerve then got a chair, and he sent them packing. And it looks like we are on the road towards Swerve and Escobar for the North American Championship, which I think is going to be a fantastic match. We had the final LA Knight Cameron Grimes segment of the night where the grizzled young veterans were joining them on the golf course. Grimes then stood up for Knight, and Knight ended up hitting the ball into the water. Grimes then took the putter, or took the sandwich, or the driver, or whatever, and he decided to hit the ball for LA Knight. He pulled it back, and he hit LA Knight right in the balls, and then sunk the ball into the hole in one. And then Grimes then threw the golf club at the grizzled young veterans, and he picked up LA Knight. He goes, "Mr. Knight, look at what they did to you." So LA Knight's running after the grizzled young veterans as the grizzled young veterans are driving away in a golf cart. This was fucking excellent stuff. This was pure fucking gold. LA Knight and Cameron Grimes, they work so fucking well together, and I am ecstatic that they decided to go forth with this program because it has been nothing short of fantastic. Everything that they've been doing has been great. I love it. I love it. So next week, we actually got an interesting show. We got Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis in a lover or loser match next week for the right to date Indy Hartwell. Then we got Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma. That's next week. Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish, which Roderick Strong will win. And then Roderick Strong will go on to fight none other than Kushida for the Cruiserweight Championship. And then we got Joe Gacy versus Trey Baxter in the final first round of the NXT Breakout Tournament. Main event, Bronson Reed and Adam Cole. Very good match. As expected, Cole targeted the leg of Bronson Reed before Reed mounted a comeback with a big body block and a running senton for a 2. Reed with a rolling Death Valley driver, very close 2 count. Cole with the Shining Wizard for a 2. Reed was chopping the shit out of Adam Cole's chest. Reed then got hit with the Panama Sunrise right on the money. But Reed was able to kick out. Reed with a wicked lariat turning Adam Cole inside out. Big powerbomb. He then went up to the top. He went for the tsunami splash, but he missed. Cole with the super kick, and he hit the last shot. And Adam Cole gets the win in a very good main event as expected. Bronson Reed is going to the main roster where he's going to be buried. And then afterwards, Kyle O'Reilly came out with a chair to beat down Cole. And he brought out the steel steps. And he hit a brain buster to Adam Cole on the steel steps. I don't fucking know where this Kyle O'Reilly was. Why the fuck are we getting poor man Orange Cassidy and not this Kyle O'Reilly? This is the Kyle O'Reilly that we need, okay? This is the Kyle O'Reilly that we need. This is the Kyle O'Reilly that we deserve. Now, I don't know what's happening here with Adam Cole and O'Reilly. That's going to be the third match at TakeOver 36. That's going to be the match at TakeOver 36, all right? Now, who's going to win? By logic, it would make sense that Kyle O'Reilly should win because Adam Cole is set to be called up to the main roster. But Adam Cole, he's been getting into it with Samoa Joe as of lately. So, the draft is reportedly set for October. I would not be surprised if we see Kyle O'Reilly lose to Adam Cole. We could potentially see Adam Cole as Samoa Joe's first challenger for the NXT Championship, and we could potentially see Adam Cole lose to Samoa Joe. Joe beats Adam Cole because they've been getting into it recently, and that's going to be the final nail in the coffin that sends Adam Cole to the main roster. They could do that. Or they could have Kyle O'Reilly win, and we could very well see Kyle O'Reilly and Joe. I don't know. But I feel as though whatever happens with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, that match is going to be looked at as an unofficial number one contenders match, and the winner of that match is going to face Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship at some point after TakeOver 36. They're not going to win. I still think Dunn is going to be the man to take it off Joe. We'll see what happens, but NXT was a solid show. Definitely the best WWE show of the week. It usually is. Let us check the chat. Let us check the chat. We got 30 likes. 10 concurrent viewers. Please, if you guys have not hit the like button, please make sure you do that. Share the stream out on all platforms, social media. Get as many people in here as possible, because everyone is giving me free views. Even the trolls giving me free views because I am the man, the myth, the legend known as DJ Storms, and I am the end-all, be-all of the IWC. We're going to talk about AEW Fight for the Fallen. Please make sure you guys hit that like button. Please make sure you guys are sharing the stream out. Yeah, I am fixing my hair, Danielle. Please make sure you guys share the stream out. Please make sure that everybody knows DJ Storms is live. We got 2 more shows to talk about, and then we're going to get on out of here. Fight for the Fallen was a very, very good show. However, my criticism of this show, the main criticism that I have of this show, was the fact that they oversaturated the show. They don't do it very often, but Tony Khan, he has a problem here and there where he tends to oversaturate the show, and he tends to try and cram too much into a 2-hour period. So this show was a little bit oversaturated. We didn't really need Julia Hart and Thunder Rosa. We didn't need the Hardy Family Office versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. We didn't need that. It was too much. It really was. It was too much. We didn't need that. So I would like to hope that going forward, Rampage is going to be used to put what we shouldn't really see on Dynamite on Rampage, and Rampage is going to be that extra hour that's going to really space out the shows so that way Tony Khan really doesn't oversaturate Dynamite, if you know what I'm talking about. We had The Elite versus Hangman Page in the Dark Order. This was a 10-man elimination tag team match. Hangman and the Dark Order got an excellent promo package and an excellent fucking entrance. The Elite dressed like basketball players from Space Jam. So we get a big brawl to start off the match. Reynolds suplexed Nick Jackson off the top rope into the pile. Quick, fast-paced offense from Reynolds and Silver. Anderson rolled up Reynolds with his trunks for the win. Reynolds was eliminated. The Dark Order then hit the fatality on Anderson, and Anderson was eliminated. John Silver was fucking over in this matchup. He was on fire. Grayson then with a Sky Twister moonsault onto the Elite. Looked like he may have overshot it, but it still looked pretty. Gallows and Grayson then brawled into the crowd, and that resulted in both of those two getting eliminated. Grayson then jumped onto Gallows out of the stands. Omega then went at it with Evil Uno. We had a V-Trigger and a One-Winged Angel, and Evil Uno was eliminated. Silver was isolated coming back from commercial. Silver was lighting up the Elite, but we had a Meltzer driver on Silver on the floor. Crowd was then shitting on the Bucks because they tried to dunk the basketball into the hoop, but they missed it. They hit the Meltzer driver, but they missed the basket. They were shitting on the Young Bucks. BTE Trigger and Silver is eliminated. Page was left on his own. We had the triple super kick, but Page kicked out. We had an assisted 450. Page still kicked out. Page then tried to rally with a big moonsault onto the floor, onto all three members of the Elite. We had a double buckshot lariat, and Matt Jackson was eliminated. Kenny Omega then tried to use the belt. He was caught with the Deadeye, but Omega kicked out. Omega then hit Page with the belt, but Page kicked out. We had a One-Winged Angel, and Omega ends up winning it. This was an excellent, excellent fucking match with a rather shocking outcome. I'm actually very shocked that they did not go forth with this. And according to Dave Meltzer, apparently Adam Page and Kenny Omega is not the plan for All Out anymore. I don't know what the plan is, but it looks like they're saving Adam Hangman Page's big win. Looks like they're saving his win. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out. I'm very, very interested in seeing what happens going forward. It's going to be very, very intriguing to see what the story is that they tell with Adam Hangman Page and Kenny Omega going forward now that Page has lost his number one contender spot. So I thought that this was very, very good. They did a very good job, an excellent match. And overall, I cannot wait to see how the story plays out. Excellent match. Definitely one of the best matches of the week for pro wrestling. Taz hosted the FTW World Title Celebration. We had a band playing for Ricky Starks. Starks then praised the band, and Starks said, I was covering up for the problems that you caused, talking about Brian Cage, of course. And I forgive you, but I can't forgive you not checking up on me after I broke my neck. You're selfish, and I don't want to be around you. Cage then came out to crash the celebration. He dropped the band members. He took a big snare drum and bashed it over the head of a band member. Then Starks got out of dodge. Cage, he looks like he's coming for Ricky Starks. Should be rather interesting. I'm very, very interested to see what happens there. But Starks, he's going to do his own thing in Cage. I see Cage going on his own, possibly as a man to take the TNT Championship from Miro. FTR versus Santana and Ortiz. This match had to be stopped a little earlier. They went right to the finish very, very quickly because Cash Wheeler, he got a cut on his left arm, I believe it was, and he was bleeding quite profusely from his left arm. I'm not sure if he broke his arm, but reportedly, the reports going around is that Cash Wheeler, he is okay. I heard that he was okay. He had a scare during the match, so they went to the finish, so that way they could care for him, which I appreciate. That was professional. get the match done because you don't want to scare. You got to think of your talent first. So Cash Wheeler is okay. This was a very good match, but it was a little disappointing. I'm not going to lie, it was a little disappointing. Still a very good match, but I didn't think that they were going to give away everything that they would have usually done, mainly because why would you give away everything that you would do within your first match? This is a future AEW World Tag Team title match down the line, so you know that it's going to be big. You know that it's going to be bigger down the line. I know that it will be bigger down the line. Still a very good wrestling match for what it was. Both teams were doing well. Cash Wheeler is doing okay. There is no word on how long he will be out, but I will be sure to keep you guys updated on that. So Ortiz was isolated before Santana got the hot tag. We had a tope con hero onto Wheeler, tag to Ortiz, suicide dive onto Wheeler. They did a powerbomb frog splash combo for a 2. We had a German suplex by Harwood on Santana, powerbomb by Ortiz, swinging DDT by Cash Wheeler, and then a powerbomb by Santana for a 2 on Harwood. FTR with a superplex attempt, superplex cradle. Both men kicked out. We had a baseball slide to Santana, and then a sheer drop brainbuster for the win, and FTR actually got the win over Santana and Ortiz. Very good match for what it was. A little disappointing, though, but Cash Wheeler, he looked to be losing a lot of blood from his left arm, and there were a lot of doctors surrounding him. He is reportedly doing okay, and I'm happy about that. Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone has announced that Rampage will be making a debut for the very first time in Chicago in the United Center on August 20th for the first dance. Why did they do this, you ask? Well, Darby Allin cut a promo, and he said, "This is the place to be. I come here to AEW to test myself, and this is the place to be, even if you think that you are the best in the world." If you needed any more clarification, people, CM Punk is coming. CM Punk is coming to All Out. CM Punk's coming to Rampage, and I guarantee you we're going to get CM Punk and Darby Allin at All Out. Take my fucking money. Take my money. We had Hikuleo, the son of Haku, versus Lance Archer. This was for the IWGP United States Championship. Decent little match, but this was really just a showcase match for Lance Archer because we got Lance Archer versus Tanahashi coming up next month, actually. So Hikuleo hit a sit-down powerbomb for a 2. Hikuleo then sent Archer to the floor. Coming back from commercial, Archer with the tightrope walking moonsault. Big superplex for a 2. Archer ended up hitting the blackout on Hikuleo, and he gets the win within 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Really nothing too special here. Decent little match, but it was mainly a showcase for Archer. Archer was clearly not losing the IWGP US title since he just won it, and that was pretty much that. Malachi Black. He attacked Cody in the back, and they brawled onto the stage. Black then dropped Cody with a knee, and he sat right in front of the camera, and he stared into the camera and goes, "Welcome to the House of Black." People came out to help Cody, and he ended up dropping Fuego del Sol with a black mass, and that was it. This was fantastic. This was absolutely fantastic. Loved every minute of it. Malachi Black is going to kick Cody's ass next week. We had Angelico and Private Party of the Hardy Family Office. They took on Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. This was pretty much just a throwaway match. Really nothing too crazy. Nothing that you're going to go back and rewatch. Jungle Boy was isolated by Private Party before Luchasaurus came in. He actually hit a triple German suplex on all members of the opposing team. Private Party then got dropped by Jurassic Express. We had a tope con hero onto Angelico and Isaiah Cassidy by Jungle Boy. And then a choke slam. Christian Cage tagged in, hit the frog splash, and the babyfaces win. Heel turn is coming, but not just yet. Not just yet. The Blade then dropped Christian Cage with the brass knuckles punch. So it should be rather interesting what we see going forward with the Hardy Family Office and Christian Cage. It looks like Christian Cage is going to get his next win next week. And it seems to me like we are going to see Christian Cage and Kenny Omega at All Out. Now, I understand if some people may think that that's not the right way to go, but there may not be anybody left. There might not be anybody left simply because of the fact that you're not just going to have CM Punk go in there or Daniel Bryan go in there, and they're not just going to get a title opportunity like that. So at the end of the day, Christian Cage, if he's used as a bridge to get Kenny Omega through All Out and onto Hangman Page at Full Gear, I'm not necessarily going to be opposed to that. I wouldn't necessarily be angry at that. So at the end of the day, it really wouldn't be too big of a deal, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But Christian Cage, he's looking like that he's going to be the next in line for Kenny Omega. Thunder Rosa versus Julia Hart. Very standard showcase for Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa wins with the Fire Thunder Driver, and Thunder Rosa, she is coming for Miss Brittany Baker, DMD, come All Out. Next week, we got a nice show. We got Miro versus Lee Johnson for the TNT Championship. Labor of Jericho number 3. It's going to be Juventud Guerrera versus Chris Jericho, and Jericho must win with a move off the top rope. We got Christian Cage versus The Blade. We also got the NWA Women's World Title Eliminator match. First round, it's going to be the Bunny versus Layla Hirsch next week. Should be damn good. And then we also got Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes in the main event. Main event of Fight for the Fallen was a no-rules match. Chris Jericho versus Nick Gage. Labor of Jericho number 2. This was fucking awesome. Whether you like the deathmatch style rules or not, it was fucking awesome. I loved every minute of it. MJF came out with the popcorn. He was on commentary. Gage was actually doing wrestling moves, so he can actually wrestle. So Cage did a superplex Falcon Arrow combo. Walls of Jericho were locked in before Gage brought out the light tubes. Jericho got Floyd the Bat. Gage got hit with Floyd the Bat before he countered and hit Jericho with a chokeslam backbreaker. Gage with a pizza cutter, and he grated Jericho's forehead. Domino's, by the way, fuck Domino's. Domino's actually said that they're not sponsoring AEW because of the pizza cutting bit. My God, I mean, you want to talk about a fucking pussies? Look no further. So we had Nick Gage. He then brought out a pane of glass. Jericho was bleeding like a stuck pig. He brought out chairs and a pane of glass, and we had Jericho doing a top rope Hurricane Rana, sending Gage through the glass. Glass smashed everywhere across the ring, looked brutal. Gage then took a light tube and smashed the light tube right over Jericho's head, and then he pile drove Jericho on the glass. Jericho still kicked out. Gage then stabbed Jericho in the head with a broken light tube. He got the bigger light tubes. Jericho then used the Tajiri Mist. He hit a light tube over Nick Gage's head, and then he hit the Judas effect, and Jericho wins. Great match. Awesome stuff. And next week, we got Juventud Guerrera as labor number 3, and he has to win with a move off the top rope, does Chris Jericho. Very good show. They overstacked it. At times, but regardless, still a very, very, very good show. Very, very happy to have watched this show, and I'm very, 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 very much looking forward to seeing what happens as far as the 4th and the 5th Labor of Jericho. I expect a New Japan guy at some point. I expect a New Japan Pro Wrestling guy at some point. You know, speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, here's something that people didn't think of. Here's something that people didn't think of. If Paige is not going to get the world title match, Paige isn't going to get the world title match at All Out. He'll probably get it at Full Gear, but he's not going to get it at All Out. Instead of Christian Cage, could we potentially see Kazuchika Okada further push the Forbidden Door open? Moxley is reportedly in the wings to face Tanahashi. He's reportedly in the wings to face Tanahashi at All Out. Could we potentially see Tony Khan bring in Kazuchika Okada to challenge Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship at All Out? It's either that or Okada could very well be a labor of Jericho. I don't know, but I think that either of those decisions, Fight for the Fallen, very good show, very, very, very nice stuff. Very, very happy to have watched it. And yeah, I told you, the dislikes are going down. Dislikes are going down because they were all troll accounts. They gave me free views, and now I got over 100 views. And I'm winning. Because I'm the man, and nobody can touch me. Trust me, I'll be seeing you guys back here. For the LFU Saturday again. Or a Friday, rather. But anyway, Fight for the Fallen was a very good show. Very, very, very good show. A little overstacked, but very, very interested to see what the next labors of Jericho hold, and if Kenny Omega does indeed face Kazuchika Okada at All Out in the main event. Should be great. So, let's check the chat. We got 31 likes. You guys are great. Thank you, Hula Grim. Thank you, Rob Wells Jr. and Dee. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. You guys are fantastic. We're actually going to talk about one last WWE show before we get out of here, and it's not SmackDown. We got SmackDown tonight. I'll be live tweeting for SmackDown. Don't worry. I'll be live tweeting for SmackDown. But, let's talk about NXT UK. We got a fairly decent show. With NXT UK. Got some decent wrestling on the show. Jordan Devlin took on Tristan Archer to start off the show. Tristan Archer started off the show with Jordan Devlin. Devlin won with the Devlin side suplex. This was mainly a throwaway match because next week we got A-Kid versus Jordan Devlin in a 30-minute Iron Man match, which is going to be fucking great. So he took the mic and he said, A-Kid's career is on the line. We got a 30-minute Iron Man match next week. He says, if you let this little Spanish delinquent into the ring with the Irish Ace, then his career is on the line. A-Kid then came out, and he was walking with crutches. Devlin goes, oh, it's Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim, big fan. He's being very sarcastic. He then kicked A-Kid's crutches out from underneath him. A-Kid then stood up just fine. He was playing possum. He was all show. It was just a rouge. So he drop-kicked Devlin and sent him packing. A-Kid then said, you thought you can injure me? You failed. And next week, you'll have an entire 30 minutes to fail again. Jordan Devlin and A-Kid, I think it's going to be a great fucking match. That's going to be a great fucking Iron Man match. Very much looking forward to seeing what they do next week. It's going to be fantastic. And there's nothing really more to say about that. We're going to get some good wrestling with A-Kid and Jordan Devlin. Oh, trust me, Kevin obviously lives in his mother's basement. He can't touch me. Because he knows that I'm right in everything that I do. He knows that DJ Storms is better than him. And he knows that DJ Storms is going to give him a little stepbrother because, I got his mother coming over my place within the next couple of hours. Be jealous, Kevin. Be very, very jealous. So, let me move on here. Let me move on. Eva Valkyrie took on Ginny. This was a decent little match. This feud is just getting started. Ginny ended up winning this match with the ripcord capo kick. Decent little match right here. Eva Valkyrie. I love what Eva Valkyrie does, and I'm very much loving what Eva Valkyrie has to offer. Eva Valkyrie is a very, very good professional wrestler, and I very much believe that Eva Valkyrie, she is going to really go places. She's really going to go places, and I do believe that in due time, Eva Valkyrie is going to be the woman to take the title off of Meiko Satomura, at least when the time is right. At least when the time is right. So we had Ginny winning this. Ginny won this with the ripcord capo kick, the touch of couture, as she says it. And Ginny ends up beating Eva Valkyrie. This is just getting started, and Eva Valkyrie is going to have her hands full with Ginny for a little bit, at least for the time being, before we eventually get Eva Valkyrie and Meiko Satomura. We had Aleah James versus Stevie Turner. Stevie Turner ended up winning with the rope rebound flatliner. She's got a little ways to go, does Stevie Turner. She's got a great look. I don't mind her finish, but man, she's got a long ways to go. She's really not that good in the ring. We had Blair Davenport. She's going to be in action next week, as well as the 30-minute Iron Man match with Jordan Devlin and A-Kid. And then in the main event, we had Mustache Mountain versus Symbiosis. This was T-Bone and Primate. This was a very good tag team match between Mustache Mountain and Symbiosis. So Trent Seven was isolated. Symbiosis kept the pressure on him. Tyler then popped Dennis with a punch. We had a DDT to T-Bone before Bate got the tag. He popped Primate with a right hand and an airplane spin. Bate was in control. He hit the Tyler driver, but T-Bone saved it. We had a power slam by T-Bone and a diving headbutt by Primate. Bate then kicked out. Dennis then with a razor's edge onto the barricade and a powerbomb and a big splash combo. Seven then saved the match before Bate hit a double rebound lariat. Bate then took out Eddie Dennis and T-Bone on the floor. Seven with the 7 stars lariat, but Trent Seven kicked out. Or no, Primate kicked out, rather. And then they hit the Birminghammer knee drop combo, and Mustache Mountain ends up winning the match. This was a very good match. It was all over the place. Very good tag team match. And then afterwards, Pretty Deadly, the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, ended up coming out. So, looks like we could see Pretty Deadly versus Mustache Mountain. And you know something? I got no issue with that whatsoever. You know, Pretty Deadly, I got to tell you something. Pretty Deadly, they may not look like wrestlers. They may look like complete fucking jobbers at first glance, but they play their pretty boy persona very well, and they're a very good tag team. Pretty Deadly's a very good tag team. No joke. They really are. They're a very good tag team. And I'm actually very, very happy that they're the NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Pretty Deadly and Mustache Mountain, the story to tell is with Mustache Mountain. I've said this numerous amounts of times. The story to tell is Mustache Mountain inevitably winning the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. So if anything, I would absolutely go forth with Mustache Mountain. Mustache Mountain wins the Tag Team Championships. I don't know when that match happens, but I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Anyway, guys, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. We got the rundown for WWE SummerSlam 2021 with Hibiki TMD coming to you on August 19th, 2021. We got the LFU on Fridays now for the next 6 weeks at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure you guys set your calendar dates for that. Be sure to check out next week's Hibiki High Spots on the Hibiki TMD channel, where we will be reviewing SummerSlam 1998. Do not forget that the rundown for NXT TakeOver 36 will be up on Saturday at I would say 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday, August 21st, before SummerSlam goes on the air on Peacock. And, of course, the rundown for AEW All Out 2021 with none other than the top rope squishy herself. I love her. She's going to be joining me on September 4th, 2021. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dee Dee, Brian King, Rob Wells Jr., Hula Grim, Peanuts, and David Maniscalco, Brad Hillborn. Thank you, everybody, for making this a great Friday stream. I'm DJ Storms, and this has been the Lightning Flash Update, and I will catch you guys live tweeting for SmackDown tonight. Peace.